Lesson 32 is about word problems, and the word problems that we're going to see will look something like this. The sum of twice a number and 13 is 75. We want to find the number. The first thing we need to do is we need to take this sentence and we need to turn it into an algebraic equation. So, the sum of twice a number, so we've got twice a number, that's 2n. The sum means to add. So the sum of twice a number and 13, so 2n plus 13, is, remember is means equal to, is 75. So equals 75. What we have to do is find the number. So if we want to find the number here, n, we're going to have to undo the addition of 13 first. So let's subtract 13. What we do on one side, we have to do on the other side. So now we get 2n plus 0, we don't have to write plus 0, is equal to 75 minus 13. That must be 62. We're trying to get n isolated by itself, so we've got to undo the multiplication of 2. To undo multiplication, we use division. So we're going to divide by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so we're left with 1n, and we're going to divide by 2. So we get n is equal to 62 over 2. So n is equal to half of 62, that must be 31. We've got our final answer. N is equal to 31. That's all that we have to do when we're given a word problem like this where we have to find the number. Let's look at our next example. Find a number which decreased by 18 equals 5 times its opposite. So, find a number which decreased by 18. So a number minus 18, because we're decreasing it by 18, equals 5 times its opposite. So 5 times the opposite of that number, so negative n. Now if we have this problem, we can go ahead and solve. Let's rewrite one time. We're going to say n minus 18 is equal to negative 5n. Remember, order of multiplication doesn't matter, so we can move the negative out in front just as easily. So now what we want to do is we want to move all the n's to the left-hand side and all the constants to the right-hand side so we can figure out what we get as our answer. Let's go ahead and add 5n to both sides. We're going to add 5n. We're going to add 5n because we're figuring out what n is equal to. N plus 5n is 6n. So we get 6n minus 18 is equal to 0 now, because negative 5n plus 5n is nothing. Now we're going to have to undo the subtraction of 18, so we're going to add 18. We're going to add 18 to both sides, and we get our final answer. Our final answer, well, almost our final answer, 6n is equal to 18. We've rearranged correctly. But to figure out the final answer, what n is really equal to by itself, we've got to go ahead and get rid of the 6. So the opposite of multiplication is division. We're going to undo the multiplication with division of 6. N is equal to 18 divided by 6. We know what 18 divided by 6 is. N must be equal to 3. We've got our final answer. Let's look at one more example today. This one says, we get the same result if we multiply a number by 3, or if we multiply the number by 5 and then add 2. Find the number. So, we have to multiply a number by 3. Ooh, there needs to be an I in there. Multiply. So if we multiply a number by 3, so n times 3, or 3n, 3 times a number, or if we multiply the number by 5 and then add 2. So we're going to get the same thing either way. So this is going to be equal to everything after the or. We're going to multiply the number by 5, 5n, and then add 2. Now we can go ahead and figure out what n is equal to. We'll find the number. To find the number, let's move all of our n's to the left-hand side. So we're going to subtract 5n on the right, so we have 0. And we're going to subtract 5n on the left. We can now rewrite, and we can see we have 3n minus 5n, that's negative 2n, will be equal to, well, we have 0 plus 2, so we have 2. We need to undo the multiplication of negative 2 times n, because we want to get n by itself. So we're going to divide by negative 2. These cancel. What we do on one side, we do on the other, so we're going to divide by -2. So n must be equal to 2 over -2. That must be -1. We've got our final answer. N is equal to -1. We found the number given these different statements. Alright, lesson practice will be on page 132 to 133. Make sure you've got your notes complete, and I'll see you during our next class.